From old friends of the part, a young in a chart, I was living in the past. Now my vision far. I got the blessing from my margin, was stressing for the art. Trying to paint pictures for scripts to my story, I'm in a different class.
Hi, I'm Afryea Henry-Fontaine and I'm at Industry Takeover.
Hi, I'm Saquib and I'm here at Industry Takeover.
Hi, I'm Jenny Quigley-Jones and I'm at Industry Takeover.
I mean, we're the hub between all the kind of elements that kind of pull together a campaign. So, you know, from press, from radio, TV, digital, advertising, we kind of oversee everything that goes on with an artist campaign. And we're about taking that release to market and making money through record sales. So yeah, that's kind of our focus. But also, you know, we look at brand deals, we look at, you know, creating videos and content, and, you know, it's quite a broad role.
That depends what your personality is like. A lot of artists don't want to do personality stuff, which I find quite frustrating because it's where YouTube's a very personal platform. So there's a statistic that says 50% of teens and millennials say a YouTube video or creator has changed their life. And that's obviously not just from listening to a song. That's because they've connected with someone or they've understood something they're saying. So if I were, you know, a musician coming up now, I would definitely try and put my personality there as well as some music. So whether that's talking about meaning behind songs, doing tutorials, talking about how you wrote a song, talking about your favourite artists, that sort of stuff, I'd put that up there as well as doing kind of covers and your own original music, because that way you get a fan base really quickly and you get a die-hard fan base. So think covers will get you new eyeballs, your music will hopefully keep them staying, and then your personality will be the reason they buy something. Your personality will be like, we really support this person because we want them to succeed above anyone else.
I think for young artists in this day and age, it's important to start up on every platform. Not every as in all the Snapchats and all that, but I mean the main three for me is Twitter, Facebook and Instagram. You have to be on them, I think, all three of them. A lot of young artists feel like Facebook isn't important anymore. And like, I use my people around me as case studies, and my little brother's 12 and he doesn't have Facebook, he doesn't even have Twitter. He texts his friends on Snapchat, which is for me baffling. Like the other day he asked me what channel ITV1 is, and I was like, what? But they don't even watch TV like that anymore, you know what I mean? He's watching it on thingy. So maybe you have to try and find people around you that age, because you might lose touch when you get older. You don't realise how things have evolved. Do you know what I mean? So I'll use him a lot of the time to see what's hot, and I'm like, oh, all right, so you text your friends through Snapchat, or they'll do this thing on like Instagram where you leave an emoji to like describe how you're feeling, whatever it is. So I learn a lot from him on how times have changed. So I'd say like use the people around you to see what, for the target audience, what works for you. Like Stormzy, for example, is a great example of someone who's tapped into that younger audience. And I don't know how he's done it and how he's engaged them so well, but like my little brother was telling me the most asked for Christmas present at his school was Adidas tracksuit, and that was due to the Stormzy effect. So it's just making sure you know who your audience is and where they are, I think would be my advice.
So if you're gonna just launch a YouTube channel, I would say make sure you have a really nice banner. Like, make sure the banner looks good, make sure your content is organized well. So you need the channel page to reflect what you actually do. Normally, like 90% of people will subscribe from that channel page rather than from a video, 80-90%. And that's why you really need to focus on conversion there. So make people think you're going to post consistently, that there's something to come back to. Say what you do. So have a playlist section that says my original music. Have a playlist section that says my vlogs or my life. Have a playlist section that says my covers. And that way people will look at it, and in 2 seconds they'll be like, right, I know they're going to post consistently, I trust there's something to come back for, I'm going to subscribe. And that's how you make them return.
Making sure everything looks polished before you come to us. Like in this day and age, I find that if you're coming to me with rubbish artwork, me or the GRMD team's not going to take you seriously, because in this day and age you can get good artwork for like £20. So then that shows me you're not taking yourself seriously. So come polished, your songs mixed and mastered, however, obviously some things incur costs, but the best that you can do. Don't come with the unfinished and rough mix and artwork that's not very good. Because if you take yourself seriously, then I'll take you seriously. Whereas if you're not putting effort and time into your project and your artist, then no one's going to give you the time back. And to make sure you're on all the channels like SoundCloud. Our SoundCloud feed is always moving. We're always looking for new music, always checking who's reposted what, listening to a lot of things. And make sure your email like grammar and mannerisms are like really important. If you put hey, kind regards, and it's all punctuated with commas, etc., I'm way more likely to reply in my personal. And a lot of people I've met say that as well. If it's not structured properly, no one's going to reply to you, I don't think. So just take the time and make sure it all looks slick.
Events like this are really important for people starting out in music. I think networking's so much more important. It's actually, despite the disruption that's happening with new forms of media, it's actually quite a traditional industry. So you need the connections. So if you can come to events like this and get known by people in the industry, I definitely recommend doing it.
I think they're amazing. I'm really kind of in support of events like this. I think, you know, what Urban Development do is phenomenal. As a young, you know, wannabe music executive, I would have loved if there were seminars like this where you can really tap into people that are doing the jobs that you want to, or have the advice that you need if you're an artist. So I think they're essential to really getting a good overview of how the music industry works before you kind of delve into it, and I think that's really important.
Very. I mean, like, not even just for new artists. I think these events are very important for young creatives. I think, like, I was here last year just watching. There was the guy from TGE Great Escape, like just learning about how he did social media and the strategist and etc. And now, like, I'm here speaking, so maybe some of these artists here will be here next year speaking on how to be an artist, and it's very important.
Top tip is create exceptional content, really engaging content, you know, content that shares who you are as an artist and gets that across, be it covers, be it behind the scenes content, be it your original music. I think content is really, really important. Building that fan base, I think speaking to your fans, being really consistent about what you're saying and how often you're saying it, and you know, engage with them, retweet, like what they say about you, get into conversations, and also tap into conversations that are already happening on that platform. Twitter is phenomenal for that. You know, with hashtags, you can get into a conversation that's happening about the Brits and tie yourself into, you know, tie your music into that conversation.
My top tip for an artist starting out would be work out what sound and brand you want first. So don't just do everything. Don't just say yes to everything. Don't just show up and tell everyone you're a songwriter. That's not how you do it. Stop and think about the sound you want, what you want to portray, and then you're at least going in as a brand. Because the hardest thing is to transform that brand and say you're someone else. You can't often reinvent yourself that, unless you're Madonna and she have a huge following by then anyway. But like at the beginning, you can't transition. You can't completely change.
Top tip for a new artist, I can't answer that. There's no set rule. I mean, just make sure you are professional and polite and well-mannered. Like, the music industry is actually so big yet so small. Like, from personal experience, if you've been rude to someone, word goes around and then no one wants to work with you. And make sure you're focused on your stuff first before you get a manager in and a PR in and a bookings agent. Just make sure your thing is working and you're getting numbers first before you do all of that stuff. That would be my tip.
Really, really love music. One of the great reasons why I love working at Virgin EMI is because we are music fans first. You know, we really love music, but also it's about keeping up with what's going on in the music industry. How are things changing? You know, what's your opinion on streaming and how that's affecting the industry? You know, be really engaged with what's happening in music, and also network. Places like this are obviously, you know, great opportunities to meet people. But yeah, I think definitely, you know, really tap into what it is about, why you want to be a marketing manager. I think a lot of people, you know, sometimes think it's the most glamorous thing in the world. And don't get me wrong, I love my job and there's some amazing glamorous elements to it. But it's really about strategy, and it's really about, you know, falling in love with those artists and helping them to amplify, you know, their music to the world. So you've got to really know why you want to get into it, and but first and foremost, be passionate about music.
My top tip for someone who wants a job at YouTube or a creative company like that, really show you're passionate about what you're doing, but also, it sounds really cheesy, but like, stay in school. Like, everyone in my role had at least a really good undergrad degree, sometimes in engineering, sometimes like there's one musician on the team and he's great, but he also went to like a top university in France, speaks 2 languages, did a master's degree. So I did a master's. I did my undergrad at Warwick and my master's at Harvard for free. And that's how you get in there. And it's sadly true that you need to work really hard and you need to show you're smart in a lot of different ways. So passion and, get that, sadly, get that validation. It's depressing.
Personally, I don't like a jack of all trades. I like people that are excellent at one thing and then are good at other things. So, if you come to me and say, look, I love writing about football, I love writing about music, or I love writing about old grime or new, if you have your focus area and then you send in an example piece, like the emails are everywhere. There's an email on the website, there's an email on Twitter, there's an email like on the editor's Twitter. Find the right guy, email him, say, yo, look, this is a feature idea that I have that I'd love to come and work with you. And then just make sure you're going above and beyond to contribute. Like, that's how I started as a writer. And I just went above and beyond, like writing 10 pieces a week, making sure I was always available for any interview, whoever, like how big or small, and that's how you'll build your network. Just put the effort in. No one's going to hand you it.
From all friends of the part, a young in a chart, I was living in the past. Now my vision far. I got the blessing from my margin, was stressing for the art. Trying to paint pictures or for scripts to my story. I'm in a different class, see, I'm actually live. Driver a match in my life, though I slapped I really need the car to the old me, bye-bye. Cause the new me sky high. And Sonny, that's bro, that's my guy. One of you touch Sonny and that's night-night. Put that on my life, put that on yours too.